Thanks for listening to Dockside Chat, Marina Dock Age's place for straight-up, useful interviews about life on the water and important trends affecting the marina industry today. Be sure to save the date for the Docks Expo and Marina Conference taking place in Nashville December 1st through the 3rd. Visit docksexpo.com for more info.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gina Stanley. I'm a writer with Marina Dock Age, and today I'm really excited to have Chris Groom here with us. He's the Marina Director and Dockmaster of Hawks Cay Marina. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you very much for having me.
Listen, your place is gorgeous, so why don't you just tell some of our listeners who haven't been to Hawks Cay, kind of set the scene for us. Where exactly is the marina? What makes the area so special in the Florida Keys?
Absolutely. So we're located approximately 3 miles northwest of Eastern Shoal Light 45 by water. By land, we're at mile mark 61 off of US 1. So we're essentially located in the Middle Keys. Duck Key is obviously very prominent in shape, so it's easily recognizable from a nautical chart. The waters are turquoise, and the marina is a well-protected and shielded marina from poor weather elements.
Okay. So you've been Marina Director since 2022, is that right?
Correct. Yeah, I came here after a 25-year career in the Coast Guard and transitioned to this position at the request of the general manager back in 2022.
Well, that's a significant chapter and a bit of a change, but still very nautical. So give us a little bit of a snapshot about what Hawks Cay Marina looked like before you started this renovation that you recently undertook. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So the marina is essentially the same configuration as it was prior to the storm, but Hurricane Irma wreaked havoc on the marina, the infrastructure, the seawall. There were some concerns with depth, so we followed up with a whole new plan to reconstitute the entire marina, which included the promenade, the marina ship store, which is 12,000 square feet of retail space alone. It has all the offerings of a normal bait and tackle shop and the accoutrements for our stay aboard guests that are going to stay for a few days. So all the docks, every single pile cap, end cap, piece of linear foot was replaced with epay wood. And we did some surveying to see if we could increase the depth of the channel to potentially bring in larger vessels.
Oh, wow.
And we did it from a 5-foot draft at mean low water to a 6-foot draft, which has dramatically increased the amount of vessels we can take in the marina now.
Wow, that's awesome. So what is like a $50 million renovation, all of that?
So they did additional renovations to the resort at the same time. I'm not sure the exact figures of the marina, but when I took over the project, there was $340,000 set aside, and it grew substantially.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Over the 4 years it took to reconstitute the marina
Right.
back to scale.
So, you said the hurricane damage was a big element of that. From the marina's perspective, were you just wanting to take on like aging infrastructure or a bigger vision for the marina? What was really the driving force?
The driving force was really the material condition of the infrastructure. The docks were dilapidated, the pilings were collapsing. It had needed significant work even prior to the hurricane, but the hurricane really wreaked havoc on the infrastructure. So rebuilding it was, the main goal was to, reconstitute the marina and make the public aware that this is a marina. We are back open. The marina was closed for an entire year following Irma. So we lost a lot of our clientele. We lost a lot of our guests who've been coming to Hawks Cay for years and years. We recently celebrated our 40th anniversary. So we have quite an abundance of guests who've come here for weddings, who were married on property 40 years ago, had familiarity with the marina and had brought their boats. So we really wanted to recapture the legacy element of the marina and bring back our guests that had been so loyal to the property for so long.
Right. So was there a time when the marina was active during the rebuild, or were you closed the whole time?
So the marina was open the entire time. It was extremely challenging logistics. Obviously, we had a local contractor, Monroe County, Monroe Seawall and Docks. They were absolutely phenomenal. Family business from the Keys. They understood everything and worked with us the best we could to accommodate guests. But we basically kept the marina open the entire time, and we would shift in stages, relocating our charter boats, trying not to relocate our guests. But it was definitely a challenge. We didn't stop selling fuel. We didn't stop selling bait. We brought in temporary fuel tanks to accommodate fuel sales while our fuel tanks were being rebuilt. So it was quite the undertaking.
Wow, it sounds like it. I'm sure your guests appreciated that, especially those longtime guests that you were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. A few noise complaints from, the hammer punching the piles, but we did our best to mitigate, and we're done. Construction is 100%
Oh,
complete.
that's got to feel good. So
It
the
feels very
marina,
good.
now you've got 66 slips with a controlling depth of 6 feet. So what's the most
Correct.
meaningful? You talked about bringing in bigger boats. What do your boaters notice first when they pull in? What are you hearing from them?
Really, the quality of the docks. The Ipe wood was a $500,000 line item to go from composite to Ipe, so that's a significant increase physically in appearance. So that's definitely noticeable. But the entire promenade was completely redone and revisited by landscapers. We have all new palms, all new landscaping,
Oh, wow.
pavers, matching fiberglass garbage cans. We have all killer dock fillet tables for our charters. Everything is a lot more uniform, but it has a very good presence to it as you enter the basin to the main marina.
Okay. So I was really interested to hear about your Klipsch immersive audio systems and those custom cleaning stations that you were talking about. Those are such distinctive amenity choices. Who came up with that idea and why?
So Klipsch Audio, we had a very strong partnership with Klipsch Audio. They had done some stereo equipment at the main pool and the adult pool and throughout the resort. So they were a natural fit for the marina and their offerings for outdoor equipment. So they definitely gave us a good deal on equipment and getting it installed. And now I can control the music from my cell phone from wherever I am in the world.
Wow.
And then the killer dock fillet tables was original concept was from a partnership we have with Saltwater Experience, where they televise fishing programs on property. They had done some sponsorship work with Killer Dock, and I had met them. Another small family business from Alabama. They are great people, phenomenal. They came to the property. Even the father came to help install all the tables, and we even have some special pieces that were custom built for our. The fuel station has a big, about 30-foot awning that casts shade on the fuel dispensers and our guests and our crew working the docks. And then our bait station, they made another custom weigh station for when we do tournaments. So
Okay.
there is a very strong killer dock presence on Hawks Cay, and it's a great product.
Yeah. You were talking about being able to control the audio. What is it the kids say? I'm on aux. So you're on aux from all over the world. That's a lot of power, Chris.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Sometimes I forget to turn it off in the evenings, and we do get reminded from the guests that lights out, please turn the music off. So fortunately, I can control it from home, so we get that taken care
Very
of.
cool. Technology. So you talked earlier about the waterfront promenade as being a big part of the transformation. So how does that change the energy of the marina? Is not only for resort guests, but for the community?
Oh, wow. It's dramatically changed our involvement with the community. We've been doing First Fridays, which will bring in vendors. It's more of not quite a street fair atmosphere, but it's more like a farmer's market atmosphere where we bring in live music. We've had flamethrowers. We've had a variety of different types of acts on the promenade. But with the new pavers and designated area that we're calling the Marina Landing, It's an AstroTurf area where we can host events, but we also have liquor reps go down there and offer out free drinks. But it's a very lively environment. As showcased, we also host the grouper opener. This year was our second annual grouper opener on the promenade, and we do that in conjunction with the qualified captain, center consoles only, saltwater experience, Onslow Bay Boat Works, a bunch of live musicians, and obviously we have our own signature cocktail at the marina called the Kill Switch. So we try to push that as much as possible.
So you do that every Friday?
We do that first Fridays of the month.
First Fridays, okay.
We do that usually through the fall until the weather kind of interrupts that.
Wow, what a great idea to really include the community with something at your marina. That's smart. I like that. So let's talk again about these big boats that you referenced earlier. So vessels up to 92 feet. Is this affecting your clientele? Are you seeing a different clientele pulling in? Serious cruisers, yachts, that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. We're starting to see a lot more clientele, as they're transiting from north to south, from the Bahamas to the Caribbean. We're seeing a lot of vessels from Louisiana, Alabama, and Texas as they're traversing to the shipyard or going to the Bahamas. So it's definitely increased our traffic. We also use a software program called Dockwa, which has definitely dramatically increased our visibility because it's an application-based reservation system. So a vessel operator could be relatively close and bring up the application, and they already have it preloaded with their vessel measurements. It's got their credit card information, so they could go in there real quick and go, oh, okay, Hawks Cay, great, it's close. My vessel can be accommodated, and they submit it through the application, and we can facilitate that as quickly as possible. So,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it works pretty good. It definitely accounts for a lot more traffic than we had in the past. We're seeing that even our boaters who've been boating for 40 plus years are very technologically savvy, and they navigate the applications with ease, and they're finding it just as easy as picking up the phone sometimes.
Yeah. So you have a full ship store with live bait, ice, all the essentials. For a transient boater that's making a Keys passage, what can you guys offer now maybe that you couldn't before?
So we're still in the process of building out our quarterdeck lounge, which is attached to our marina store. It has restricted access for our marina guests only. So when they check in, they get a wristband that gives them access to that bathroom, which has showers. Eventually, it'll have TV, lounge, ice maker, and laundry facilities that will all be complimentary for our overnight guests.
So in preparing to talk to you today, I saw some reviews, and they consistently mention you by name and your team. So captain's talking about your dock staff going above and beyond. That seems clear that that's an important thing to you, that genuine hospitality. What does that look like there at Hawks Cay for you?
Absolutely. Obviously, with my military background, we try to keep a very disciplined dock as much as possible with a very keysy environment where people feel welcome. But ordinarily, a lot of our guests will just arrive and tie up the boats, but we try to get the dock hands out there as quickly as possible to help them tie up their vessels, plug in their shore tie, get their hoses over. But having served in the Coast Guard and having returned to port many, many times, there's a lot of logistics that are required. There's a lot of stress, especially if the weather's not conducive to tying up your boat. So we try to facilitate that as much as possible and communicate with the guests as much as possible, and really try to offer them a concierge service for them as they arrive as best we can.
Listen, I boat on a lake in a 22-foot boat, and sometimes that's stressful pulling that thing up to get gas if there's other boats around. So I can only imagine trying to pull in a yacht off the ocean.
Oh yeah, we definitely have. Our slips are for some of the larger boats are a little snug, but and with the current and wind at our marina, it can be a little challenging sometimes. So
I can imagine.
We do our best to accommodate and prepare them for success.
So obviously fishing is a big element also to Hawks Cay. How do you support that? Like do you have guided charters, anything like that? What's beyond your cool new, stations? What's the culture like for fishermen there?
Absolutely. So we have 11 charter boats in house, ranging from backcountry center consoles to offshore vessels, cabin vessels, 44 foot and greater. And we offer those to the public. They're all 6-passenger, primarily vessels, and they target the backcountry, inshore, and reef. So they're really kind of the presence of the dock. They really generate the most buzz and activity and conversations, especially when they return. If they landed a big fish, or, for instance, we had charter fishing vessel Tailwalker landed a white marlin. It was a little while ago, but very rare. It was a lot of buzz on the dock. It was very fascinating to see. So yeah, they definitely create their own little atmosphere down there.
So what's the most common catch for somebody like that going out?
The most common catch is probably going to be yellowtail snapper, depending on the seasonality. Right now we're in the mahi season, so they're starting to see a lot of dorado. But we see a lot of sailfish. Marathon is known for sail fishing, so we have quite a bit of sail fishing tournaments and do see a lot of that. Obviously, they're more primarily catch and release, so you don't see them on the docks, but as the charter boats return and their guests return with their fish flags flown, it creates quite a buzz.
Oh, that's cool. That's what a great idea. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the history of the resort. So on Duck Key since the 80s, survived multiple hurricanes, hosted presidents. How does that legacy shape how you think about the marina's role on the property?
Well, you are correct. I know Jimmy Carter has been on property many times, amongst other distinguished guests. The marina to my knowledge, the marina has been in existence since Indy's Inn, the original hotel that was built in the 50s. The marina has always been a part of it. I think in the past it was more of a non-transient marina, and we're now a 90% transient marina, so it's kind of changed over the years. But the majority of our guests really come down here for two reasons. Obviously, the family resort and the environment of the family resort, and boating. It's either fishing or going to the sandbar. It just coincides with the resort and the amenities we have available at the resort. If the weather turns bad for them, they still have the opportunity to do things on property. And then when the weather's beautiful, like today, they can go out to the sandbar. They can come back with their catch and do a hook and cook at our restaurant. There's a variety of options.
Well, speaking of restaurants, we'll talk to the foodies a little bit here. Restaurant Salt Ash, Michelin starred chef Jimmy Ford. How does that dining experience kind of play into what you offer the boaters? Is that a selling point for some of your people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Jeremy Ford being Floridian and having a farm to table, the concept of the restaurant is farm to table, but he also has a farm, I believe it's in Homestead, where he provides the majority of the produce fresh. And obviously they are seeking the most fresh caught fish on a daily basis. So it's a beautiful facility. It is definitely not like anything else in the Keys, from what I've experienced. The food's phenomenal. They're starting to do a little bit more events where they'll bring in other celebrity chefs to do different types of cooking events for guests. So they've definitely boosted the morale of the marina, especially since they have such a focus on fish.
Is that a situation where they'll say, "Oh, we've got this snapper that Steve caught at 2 p.m. today"? Do they do that?
Well, they don't. It is definitely, the fish come from the boats and go directly to the kitchen. I don't know that they specify where the fish come from, but if our guests catch fish and take it to Angler Now for a hook and cook, It's definitely mentioned as to who caught it.
Yeah, that's a fun idea. So I've heard about an adventure park, Coral Cay, coming late summer this year. Is that happening?
It is happening. It is under full production. I believe there's going to be some slight delays. I don't know the exact release date of when it's going to be open. I would imagine early fall, most realistically, based on construction timelines. But it is a massive undertaking. We went from a relatively large footprint with a small pool with a pirate ship. Now we have multiple slides. We have the entire area has been completely redone. All new landscaping, landscape lighting. It's going to be something that has never been offered in the Keys before. So we're super excited to see how that drives the market. And obviously, it's more of a family type activity. So we're very excited to see how it brings more families back to the property, because really that's kind of the focus of the property, how it's been over the years, is focus on the families, and we'd like to see them every year, so hopefully it draws them to come back.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan to kind of bring that all back together. So that makes me want to come down to the Keys.
Well, you're more than welcome anytime.
So looking ahead, since the grand reopening that you had in December, what's the response been like from the regulars who knew the old marina, even maybe long time, regulars that you've had, and the new visitors? What are both of those ends of the spectrum? What's their perspective?
Well, the regulars are thrilled to be done with construction as they've watched for many years. But really, the locals are most thrilled that we have live bait again. We partnered with American Aquarium, who built us a phenomenal bait station that has some pretty high-tech technology. It would be the equivalent of a yacht live well. So we now can sell live bait, which the guests love that because they don't have to travel far to do that. And the new guests are just excited, by the hospitality they see as they arrive. And, the environment at the marina, we try to keep a very upbeat marina, and we know that people's time is very precious, and we want them to enjoy themselves as much as possible while they're here. So it does help to offer up some kill switches, get the mood a bit more lively. But yeah, we're enjoying seeing new faces here.
Yeah, I like that phrase you used earlier, to be very Keysy, the Keysy way.
It's definitely a nuance for sure. We try to keep it structured, but Keysy for sure.
So what does success look like for Hawks Cay Marina when you're looking ahead, looking a few years down the road? What's the goal you're looking forward to?
Success for us is really, building those relationships with our clientele. And as you stated, like when they recognize us by names or they recognize it by boat name, just that environment where people feel welcome and feel known. We really enjoy our repeat guests. They definitely bring a different element to the marina, and it gives us, for those folks who aren't from here, it gives us a little bit of sense of home, returning port, as said from many sailors.
So anything else that I haven't touched on today that you might want to share with our audience?
Really, I don't have any major things to say. The next major event we have will be the Duck Key Lighted Boat Parade sometime in December. That is one of our funnest events. We partner with the Duck Key Fishing Club, and on average they have about 25 to 30 boats fully illuminated, and they do a parade around the main marina so everyone views from the promenade. So that's definitely one of our most entertaining and lively activities, as they dress the boats to the nines, and they actually dress the passengers too.
That's it. You need to have your music playing some holiday music then, Chris.
Oh, we have a DJ for that one, and an MC that kind of heckles the boats as they enter the main marina.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That sounds like a fun place. Well, listen, I'm really glad to have gotten to talk to you after, kind of seeing the marina and how beautiful it is. I was excited to hear, it's kind of a rebirth after getting pummeled by that hurricane. So it seems like you guys have really added on some great value for your customers, and sounds like you got a wonderful future ahead too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for listening to Dockside Chat, Marina Dock Age's place for straight-up, useful interviews about life on the water and important trends affecting the marina industry today. Be sure to save the date for the Docks Expo and Marina Conference taking place in Nashville December 1st through the 3rd. Visit docksexpo.com for more info.